Welcome to my 30-second Wild Watches video. Today I shall be talking about the movies I watched in the month of August 2018. I shall talk about them individually starting now. The first movie I watched was Stryker. I was too hard on this movie for sure. It's not terrible. It's got things that work. It is definitely not the worst post-apocalyptic film, but it's certainly not the best as well. It had a lot of problems, a lot of things that didn't make sense, like the baby at the end. Like, where the hell did that come from? But still, fun. The second movie I watched was Death Wish 2018, the remake of the 1974 classic, Bloody Hell. This was a cold, badass movie. Killing people is like breathing to Bruce Willis in this film. And Bruce Willis has a really good performance. He provides emotion, which is something he doesn't normally do nowadays, and he provides anger, which gives us a really great scene of him breaking down. The third movie I watched was Tremors, one of my all-time favorite creature features. Actually, one of my all-time favorite creature feature franchises. I love all of them, even Part 6. But Tremors 1 is still my favorite. It's got the most budget behind it, the most talent, the most fun scenes and action, adventure, horror, comedy. It all blends together. It is well made, and it just works. Enough said. The fourth film I watched was The Meg. Now, I was so hyped for this movie, and when it came out, I was bummed. I am waiting to see it a second time to give my official opinion out to the public, but right now as it stands, could have been a lot better. I think the PG-13 rating really did hurt it. I don't often say that, but in this case, it needed to be rated R. The fifth film I watched was The Abyss. I watched this sometimes as a kid, and seeing it now in its entirety, and a lot older than I was as a kid, I have grown to really appreciate the film. It does have some flaws and issues that I'm not that big on, but I still think it's a great film. Well made, everything's a big grand spectacle, so can't go wrong there. The sixth movie I watched was Tremors 2, Aftershocks. Badass sequel. This is how you do a proper sequel to a great film. You make it not necessarily bigger, but stronger. You've got a more core cast, fewer people. And in that, you get really great banter between them, and an awesome creature design, a new creature design. The seventh film I watched was Megalodon, the 2018 Michael Madsen starring film. Oh boy. This was probably the worst shark movie of Sharknado Week 2018. It had so much potential. I mean, a lot. They chose to go the cheaper route by not showing enough of the Megalodon and not doing enough with the fish. It failed. The eighth movie I watched was Tremors 3 Back to Perfection. I have a love-hate relationship with this film. It has a lot of great references to the first, great returning characters, and I want to love it. There's just something holding me back, and I don't know what it is. The ninth movie I watched was Sharknado. This was at the start of that Sharknado Week full movie watch I did with quite a few people. It was a lot of fun. I have to admit, I had a lot of fun doing that. And I hope to do it again next year. As for Sharknado, y'all know it. It's a bad movie, but it's so bad. It's bad. It's not even so bad it's good because they actually try to be bad, so that's the problem. I'm not sure with this one, the first one, because it seems like it's trying. And then later on they have more money, so they don't try as hard. So I think that's where it kind of falters in the sequels. The 10th movie I watched was Two-Headed Shark Attack. A lot of people count this as the best multi-headed shark film. I don't think so. The characters are god-awful. Fucking awful. I mean, they complain, they bitch, they whine about everything. It's terrible. The shark effects are not even up to par as they were in 3 to 5 to 6-headed Shark Attack, so there's that problem too. The 11th film I watched was Hands of Steel. I did not give this film enough credit when I reviewed it for Surviving Summer. It is an awesome film, an awesome Terminator ripoff, and an awesome fun time. It's really shocked me at how much fun I had with Hands of Steel. I was kind of going into it with low expectations / high expectations, or somewhere in the middle, and I came out loving it. The 12th movie I watched was Sharknado 2, the second one. It's pretty good. I think it tried too hard to be a major blockbuster type film, but that's not what you can do with $2 million. I'm sorry, you can't do that. Unless you try not to use tons of effects and cameos. But they did, and I think that's where they faltered. The 13th movie I watched was Sharknado 3, Oh Hell No. This brought it back down to a more effects-heavy extravaganza, but it notched up on the comedy. That's where it kind of failed. I still love it, but it's just too humorous. The 14th movie I watched was Three-Headed Shark Attack. This is a badass shark movie. I've watched 2, 3, 5, and 6-Headed Shark Attack, and I always think back to Three-Headed Shark Attack and how badass all the characters were. There's like 3 characters that ended up being like really badass. Machete fighting off a shark with a machete. Oh my god. And a dude jumping off a bridge on a boat and slamming an axe down into the back of the shark. Fuck yes. It could have been executed a little bit better in that scene, but I think it was still awesome what they were trying to go for. So I give it major props. The 15th movie I watched was Sharknado The Fourth Awakens. It's a lot of fun, but it's way too silly. Way too much. The effects overtake the movie. And that's my main problem with it, is that it's so effect savvy that it doesn't know what to be. The 16th movie I watched was Five-Headed Shark Attack. This one has the best effects, in my opinion. They really tried. They tried so damn hard to make a great-looking film, but it could have ended better. But there's more gore than there was in Three-Headed Shark Attack. Still, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's not the best. It's kind of boring too in some parts. The 17th movie I watched was Santa Jaws. Wow, what a concept. But it actually was Misty Tally's best directed feature, in my opinion. The effects were great, the characters were great, the dialogue, humor, everything was spot on. You want to have a film like Santa Jaws be made with decent effects, and it does. It has decent effects for a low budget film. Compared to Ozark Sharks, Zombie Shark, and Mississippi River Sharks, the effects here are blockbuster enough for out of those 4, including Santa Jaws. The 18th movie I watched was Dark Age. I loved the book so much, and before I read it, I watched this movie, and I loved the movie. I love the movie the same amount, but the book is still better. Dark Age is a great film, though. I will not lie. I even interviewed the author of the book, Graham Webb, and it was a great interview. It's on YouTube. Probably put a link to that in the description below if I can actually remember. And Dark Age, it's just a lot of dark fun in an age of crocodile films. The 19th movie I watched was Sharknado 5, Global Swarming. It's not as good as I thought it was when I first saw it. It was kind of... Let's just put it this way. It's dumb. They have the budget to do these kind of movies, and they seem to get cheaper and cheaper with the effects and camera work, and more costly on the cameos. That's a big no-no in my book. The 20th movie I watched was Six-Headed Shark Attack. I watched this movie 3 times. I didn't know how to feel about it at first. The first time I saw it, I saw that they used footage from Five-Headed Shark Attack, and I was pissed. But overlooking that, this is probably my favorite multi-headed shark movie next to Three-Headed Shark Attack. It is so much fun. It has so much heart, I feel. Before it was released, the director, Mark Atkins, said that it was like Dead Alive and Evil Dead meets Jaws or something like that. And it had a lot of gore for a shark movie on sci-fi. Not as much as some other ones, but enough to have enough satisfaction for me. The 21st movie I watched was Shocking Dark, aka Terminator 2 by Bruno Mattei, or directed by Bruno Mattei. And fuck me, this movie is bad. I can see the appeal. It's just so brash, so loud, same meaning. So annoying that I kind of get pissed. And there's not even enough creature action, so. The 22nd movie I watched was Razorback. I watched this twice. I love Razorback. It's an amazing film. No complaints at all here. I think it works in succeeding at being a artsy, horrifying creature feature. The 23rd movie I watched was Nightmare Shark. No. Just, it had a cool concept. It had a really, really cool concept. It fucked it up badly. The shark is barely there. There's practically no gore. No. The 24th movie I watched was Humanoids from the Deep, the 1996 remake of the 1980 classic. Don't hate me. I like this one so much more than the first. I love the first. I really do, but this one feels like an actual movie. It doesn't feel compiled together from other directors' works like the first film had. So in that, props. Major fucking props. The 25th movie I watched was Street Trash. I watched this with Obscure Media. Had a lot of fun. We didn't do a live stream. We came over and we watched it, and it was just so much gory goofiness. It's such a messy movie, like in terms of blood. And colored blood, like blue, yellow, green, yeah. The 26th movie I watched was Boar. Now, Boar is an amazing Australian killer pig movie from director Chris Sun, the director of Charlie's Farm, which is also a fun movie. If you can get a copy of Boar, definitely check it out. The 27th movie I watched was A Quiet Place. I had a lot of fun with this movie. I was being too critical at the time I saw it, but it's a lot better than I probably gave it the rating for. The 28th movie I watched was Toxic Shark. This shark's making me toxic. Good effects for the most part. Lots of gore. I enjoyed it. Could have been a little bit better in terms of execution. I wish the sharks poison it sprayed out. Spoilers, turned them into zombies, but instead have them just melt. But no. The 29th movie I watched was The Evil Blow. This was bad. It has some creepy moments, but nothing worth checking out here. The 30th movie I watched, yes, we're still going, Tremors 4, The Legend Begins. Holy cow. A prequel that has pretty much the same entire characters, but a different cast, and the return of Michael Gross as his ancestor. What a weird movie. I still love it, though. The 31st movie I watched was Deep Rising. Really good movie. I have a lot of fun watching this movie. That's the main topic of this video. The main word seems to be fun. You can't say anything else about Deep Rising without saying it's fun. The 32nd movie I watched was Sharks in Venice. Bad. Oh, bad. Stephen Baldwin, the treasure seeker hunter. Bad. It could have been better. Really, it could have. I mean, you've got like a cool story. You should have had a shark barreling down Venice and tearing people up, but probably didn't have the budget for that. Anyways, those are it. Those are the 32 movies I watched in the month of August 2018. It's a lot of movies. Not that many this next upcoming month, I don't think. Not that it's almost over, and I have a lot, but not this much. So anyways, as always, thank you all for watching, and I am Brian Gatto, host of Horror Entertainment. Make sure to like my Facebook page in the description below to leave comments and subscribe.